Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and today we've got a very special guest. She has recorded many episodes with us over the years, but hasn't for a few. And back with us is Erin Wilkins. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
It's good to see you, hear you again, and you've you've been absent for a bit, but you're always busy doing a lot of good things involved with the healthy living world, and I'd love to catch up and see what you've been up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been way too long. This should have happened way sooner before now. Just kind of filling my plate a bit with running an animal sanctuary, as well as doing a lot of teaching dance at the local college and just doing my own thing too. I think the biggest lesson in all that is sometimes you can care a little too much and you need to put yourself first.
You know, that's interesting that you said that. I just had a conversation with a mutual friend of ours that asked me to do a thing that in the years past I would have just done it. But over my life, I've learned that just giving your life away, giving yourself away all the time, usually doesn't work out for the best. And I've had to learn some balance and realize that there's a reciprocity in the universe that if you're not part of, you'll pay into. And
Hmm.
it's a hard lesson because some of us have big hearts and we love people and we want to be a good force in the universe and all those good things that, like, instinctively it says, well, just say yes to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think that we're programmed that way, especially healers, especially caregivers, that someone asks you for something, you're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm extended, if it, hurts me in the process of it.
Yeah.
We're supposed to care for others, right?" So
Right.
here we are going out and caring, and it's a hard lesson because pretty soon you find yourself drained, and if you're not at 100%, you've got nothing to give. So you're really
Exactly.
not benefiting that other person, and saying no can
Yeah.
be one of the healthiest things.
Well, and part of it is you have to recognize that you are one of the others too.
True.
And so, like, if somebody came to you and didn't have anything to offer and they says, I'm thinking about giving away more than I have to somebody, your advice to them would probably not be to go and do that. And
Nope.
you would probably say, well, you need to take care of yourself and you need to rest and heal and, eat right and do all those good things to be healthy. And then once you have a little something to give, then yeah, give. But for ourselves, we don't tend to practice what we preach all too good.
No, we do not. And it is. It's a good lesson, but it's a hard one. And because you feel like you're letting people down. You feel like, oh my gosh, where is this person going to go for that? But then
Right.
it's like you have to. I mean, what's the saying? Like, love your neighbor as yourself. But what if you're not
Right.
loving yourself? You can't really love your neighbor.
Exactly. And that's key. You just nailed it right there.
Uh-huh.
Love your neighbor as yourself. I've been working with a lot of healers in the Gardens of Hope for the last 2 years, and people from all around the world have come with different practices and different faiths and different medicines and different, all of these different things. But the one thing they all seem to have in common is the understanding of how important love is and that's
Mhm.
what drives the healing. And
Yep.
I've actually found myself being a sanctuary for healers as much as for the people, the regular folks getting the healing, because with almost no exception, the healers push themselves too far
Yep.
and they get what they call the psychic flu, after they've done a ceremony or they've done a big, event where they've helped a lot of people and done practice whatever form of work they do. And then, a week later they're sick. And I'm like, why do you guys always get sick? You know,
Yep.
you're an empath and you know what it's like to literally give your energy away to the point where you don't have any left. And so I've kind of like realized, well, for myself as well, like when I was dealing with the cancer, I realized I had to take care of me and nothing else mattered. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there wasn't going to be a me. And that was quite eye-opening because once I came to that point, I kind of moved the bar and it's never going back.
Good.
And so now that I got a new lease on life, there's no way in hell I'm gonna let myself jeopardize that by handing it out too much, I guess would be the word,
Definitely.
There's always a time and a place for somebody who really needs something that truly can't. Like every once in a while, you find that bird that fell out of the nest that if you don't help it, it's gonna die. And
Yep.
every once in a while, but you have intuition that says, well, this is one that you gotta take one for the team for, and all
Hmm.
the rest of them. But we ignore our intuition a lot, and I think that's another lesson is to take that time to, you know, listen to that little
Yeah.
inner voice you got.
That's true. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to
Right.
really hear that very well. And
So
yeah, I get it. I know. I don't know how many times people have said, well, Erin, what about you? What are you
right,
doing for you? I'm like,
right,
why do I don't need to do anything for me. And then you're like, wait a
right.
second. If I don't, though,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to be effective. My intuition's going to be impaired. And that happened just last night. I was headed off to meet with a gentleman today that wanted to talk about starting like a recovery group.
Uh-huh.
And I just had this weird feeling like, no, don't go, don't go, don't go. And I was like, but this is a good thing. And so
Right.
it takes that going like, it might be good, but what's the
Yeah.
best?
Right.
What's it going to cost to get
Yeah.
that good when if you were just to pause and rest and get the best?
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot running this nonprofit because I ran one before where literally I carried it on my back and I carried it for 15 years. I helped people all around the country. And eventually, when I got sick, it fell apart because I couldn't keep it on my shoulders anymore. Now it's no longer. Well, this one, I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
saying if it's going to stand on its own, it's going to need people to help. And we've actually been going out applying for grants and getting some and building programs with some resources. But it's interesting. We applied for a grant recently, and their questions to us involved, why don't you have any payroll? Like,
Mm.
how does your business run when you're not paying anybody to work? And I have to answer that, and
Yeah.
it's a big wake up call that said, there's no other functioning nonprofit in the world that works and gets anything done. I mean, there's a lot of little ones, so if one person runs it and it's their little hobby, but to actually help people in a substantial way, if you don't have that reciprocity where you've got somebody who's receiving so that they can give, it's not sustainable.
No.
And so I'm now acknowledging that, going, well, one of us has got to go on salary. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but there's something about that that tells somebody who might want to support you, these guys are serious.
Yeah.
And it also tells the universe that in a way that kind of counterintuitive a little bit. Again, you think, well, we're a nonprofit, so we're going to give and give and give, and we're going to do the right thing so people will make donations, and yeah, that happens sometimes, but not always, and
Yeah.
maybe not enough to get it to get up and thrive. And so, yeah, we're learning a lot when it comes to that, and I'm actually having to look at that and say, well, I'm ready to make the commitment for this to be my career and say,
Hmm.
it's it's a job as well as an offering, as well as, a calling and all of that stuff. And, hundreds and hundreds of people have come to this garden and been healed. And okay, so, even churches, they get, their priests get paid with some little stipend and a place to live and the food to eat, and they're taken care of.
Yep.
It doesn't, it's just a normal thing, and people don't have a problem with it. It's not like a bad thing. I feel like, yeah, of course we take care of our people. And
Hmm.
so, anyways, I think that's a weird lesson that I'm finding myself reckoning with in a substantial way. And I know I'm hoping that you're catching that one too, because you have so
Yeah.
much to offer, and sometimes life flips us upside down, says, "You listening yet?"
Uh-huh. No, it is. It's like that, like, oh, well, I'm a healer, so I'm just supposed to be here to heal whoever comes my way. And then I
Right,
realized, like, but you know what? I've got years and years of experience in training. And once I started like setting a set price for like this is the price for my services,
yeah,
I found that there was a lot more respect, a lot more people weren't just taking advantage of me.
yeah,
I hated doing it because I
yeah,
feel like I just need to give and give and give, but
right.
you know, at what cost?
We've even had to do that, not in such a strict way, but we've always said, well, if somebody wants to come and do a retreat here, and whether it's, running an overnight ceremony or a sweat lodge or whatever, many of the things that they do here, I said, it's a donation base. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs. But there was a group that was coming out here regularly enough, and they were doing a peyote ceremony that was, up all night, and 25, 30 people would be on the property for the weekend,
Oh, wow.
and then all of a sudden, one time we didn't get anything, and then another time, and I was like, after a while, I'm like, look, I can't carry this on my back. It costs me to have you here.
Hmm.
Even just to keep my toilets clean, it costs me for me to be here to help you. I'm not doing something else that I could be making, resources with. And I actually had to sit with the roadman and say, look, I can't do this anymore this way. And, even if your guys paid me $20 a night, I would be okay. Even if it was I mean, you go to a campground in Idaho
Yeah.
to park there and get nothing other than a place to park your vehicle, and you're going to pay $30 a night.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And nobody has a problem with that. And so it was interesting because this weekend we had one with that same group, and I said, look, I can't do this anymore this way. So you're going to have to make sure, otherwise, I'm going to have to step in and ask everybody, are you helping out? How are you doing it? And it'll be uncomfortable, but I don't care. I'm an old guy. I don't care what anybody thinks. And sure enough, he stepped up. And this last ceremony, they covered more than they have in a long time, and everybody brought food, and everybody was downright pleasant.
Good.
And I had to, like, reset. And the other side of it is some groups come through here and they're super generous. And I think to myself, well, why is one group amazing and makes me think, well, everybody's going to be that way without me having to do anything? And then the other one is, well, the truth is, we have to be the ones to set our value.
Yep.
Like when you did that, you said, well, this is what I'm worth now. And not
Hmm.
maybe I'm not for everybody, I can't necessarily help. And maybe if I get more than I need, I can sponsor somebody once in a while and have a little scholarship or whatever, take a little sick bird in, but that
Yeah.
it's not the norm.
Yep.
And since you've done that, how have you noticed the shift in your clients, even with how they respond? Like I've realized that when I just say, well, come and, if you want to make a donation, you can, if not, whatever. And sometimes somebody will, leave a couple of bucks or whatever. And I think to myself, wow, is that what they thought this was worth?
Hmm.
Usually you don't even hear from them again. And I thought, wow, that's a
Yep.
That was an odd experience. What's the lesson here?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, and I've definitely seen that. I feel like people that really are searching for answers, wanting to heal, wanting true help on their journey, they're like, absolutely, whatever you charge, I'm there. It's those others that's like, for me, can you
right,
help me with this? And then you
right.
feel bad. And
Yeah,
then they usually want something else or they don't want to make those changes.
yeah.
And you have to really just draw that hard line of, I'm sorry, this is what it costs. Otherwise, I find the ones that are just, you get taken advantage of, they're really searching for something else that's probably not healing and probably something that I shouldn't be trying to assist them with anyway.
Exactly.
So, yep,
Yeah, you find yourself, what's the word, enabling
absolutely. Yeah.
instead
Yep.
of helping. And what I've learned is, as we have this big garden that always needs help, I say, well, if you don't have money, then put some time in.
Yeah.
Come and donate your time, or bring some yard tools, or donate some seeds or something that is an exchange.
Yep.
And I've even created a place for me to take on an apprentice, and even offer a place to stay and all of those things. But it needs somebody that is willing to commit to it and do the work. And I'm not, it's like the old adage of, you put a bowl of cat food out in the alley, and before you know it, you got 100 stray cats coming to eat. And
Yep.
they're never going to give you anything. They're not going to do anything for you. They may keep a few mice away, but the truth is, they're just going to be spraying all over your alley, and it's not going to be very pleasant after a while.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like that. I got this one kid who I watched him. He was working hard, to set these ceremonies up. It's a lot of work. You got to prepare the grounds, and, a lot of thought and care into preparing a sacred space. And somebody's got to do that work. And
Yeah.
it's one of the guys that was putting in the work, cleaning things and just making it real good. And afterward, we were talking, and, he was telling me how he lost his job and he was looking for, a fresh start and trying to get this and that. And I said, there's a possibility that there could be an opportunity here for you. But the first thing I need from you is for you to really put some thought into this and, write out what your perfect life would be in great detail, because to me, that's like a sign that somebody's willing to put an effort in.
Hmm.
And then if
Yeah.
that's the case, we can talk about it and say, well, what are you doing about it? And, do an evaluation. And I thought to myself, well, if he's willing to do that and engage me from a distance without me having to put a lot of effort in, then maybe there's a play here. And then we could do a trial run. And as I suspected, it didn't happen. And I thought to myself, well, I'm sure glad I didn't just invite him in and say, come on in and we'll put you up and we'll figure it out. Because in the past I've done that
Yeah.
and it never worked. But this time, he was here at the last ceremony and he told me, I'm working on this thing. I got it written down, and, but I'm going to go to North Dakota and get some work, save up some money, and then hoping to come back and work on that. Cool. It didn't take anything from me to have that little conversation instead of that. And so I'm learning as we go.
Yeah. Good.
And so you've got a garden, you've got a healing place, and you take care of, you've got an animal sanctuary. Why don't you tell me a little bit about how that's been coming along?
Hi, this is Joe Grumbine, and I wanted to share an update. The platform that hosts this podcast has made some changes to the subscriber settings, and we have a number of subscriber-only episodes that we offer to the supporters, and for a minimum of $3 a month, we can get you signed up. And if you're already signed up and you're having some kind of trouble locating these episodes in the other platforms, I would say maybe the best answer is to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. I'm sorry for the hassle. I don't have any way to make a change, but I'm very grateful for all the support. Thank you.
Oh, it's been good. We had probably, oh gosh, last count was over 130 animals. So taking a lot in, but this is where I've started to draw my line of, I feel bad for these animals. A lot of them are in really bad shape. I take them in, I rehab. I'm learning that I can't hold on to all of those. Like I can take something in and rehab it, but then I just need to let it go and trust that there's another good home for it.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm starting to be overwhelmed. And then I'm not able to give not only to my family, but to all these animals that are dependent upon me. And
Right.
so that's been my lesson in the last couple of weeks of, yeah, okay, an animal needs you, but then after you make sure they're healthy and happy, then you find them a good home where they
Right.
can
Right.
continue to be loved and
Yeah.
taken care of. But I don't need to hang on to them because I'm scared that, they're not going to have the perfect home.
So do you have a strategy for that? Do you have a way to reach out to people? Like, I know you put the word out here and there. I don't know that you do any real advertising or anything about what you do, but again, that's an opportunity here on this podcast to tell people about what you're doing and how they can reach you and all that. We'll get to that at the end of the show.
Okay.
But how do you find a home for a rehabbing animal?
Yeah, and I know sometimes it can be hard. I usually list there's a really cool Facebook website, a 208 Helping Animals. And I
Uh-huh.
usually start there, and then just as people start coming in with questions, I kind of screen them. And
Okay.
I'm usually able to use my intuition and know like, okay, they're going to be a good fit or they're not going to be a good fit or this animal's not going to be happy. So yeah, I've got today. I'm rehabbing two animals today: a Eurymastix lizard and a banana morph python. Um,
Wow.
so I've got someone driving over 2 hours for the python, and
Okay.
then one of my friends that is actual an animal carer as well is taking the lizard. So I know that one will have a good home.
All
but
right. All right.
but yeah, it's usually just a series of questions that I go through and make sure they know what they're doing. They're gonna love them, take care of them,
So
and
tell
then.
me about the animals that you have. What's the spectrum of animals?
Oh my gosh. Well, I run my own small farm. So with that, I've got my bees and my ducks and chickens. But outside of that, it's everything from lizards, snakes, spiders, salamanders, frogs, toads, ferrets, guinea pigs, giant millipedes. It's kind of all over the place.
Wow. All right. All right. I suppose some would be easier to find homes than others.
Yeah. Yeah, they both are kind of like different types of people. So someone that typically wants a guinea pig is way different than someone that wants a ball python.
I would
So,
imagine. Yeah, I would definitely imagine. Well, I guess aside from the winter time, you could probably take care of just about anything. Wintertime, some of these guys need a warm place to be, so you've got to
yep.
provide that for them, which is a whole nother layer. Like we've got a Salcutta tortoise now,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, yeah, we got a goat now, and our little our my wife loves her animals, and I love them too, but I'm a little more practical about it. But yeah, the tortoise, he's a terror. He's got run of the property, and sometimes he just decides to mow through the vegetable garden and just eat everything in his way. And so now I'm having to put up little fences and tortoise proof the place a little bit. And it's he he's a character. And of course, the goat's a goat, so she'll get out and eat anything it's but she's a loving goat, so everybody likes her. She's a kind of a star.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, your little farm is, a lot of ways similar to ours in that, it's just a little thing that we grow things to eat, and it's a place that you find that when you work in it, you help yourself. And so
Oh, absolutely.
do you dedicate a certain amount of time or a certain, I mean, I know obviously the chores you have to do to keep the farm running is its own thing, but do you sometimes just say, well, I'm going to do this because I want to? And
Hmm.
do you take time to just sit and enjoy it?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And you have to. I know in my greenhouse this year I started a hydroponic system.
Oh, nice.
Uh, so that's been new, and I've got goldfish that are down in the bottom, and then I have this cool, so it's got the fountain sound. As soon as you walk into the greenhouse, the water's pouring out, and
Nice.
I'm growing basil.
Okay.
So yeah, yesterday I was able to harvest some tarragon basil, and what
Nice.
was the other one marjoram.
Okay.
And and some chives. And so I got all those dried up and prepped, and just being in there and working with the herbs and working in the soil and hearing the water. I mean, that's my little retreat from the day too.
Good, good, good.
So
Yeah, we do microgreens, and I've got a little pond that just has some mosquito fish in it, but we take that water from the pond and water the microgreens with it. And that way the nutrients from the fish are going to feed the microgreens, which don't need a lot of food anyways. But it keeps the water clean. And
yeah,
we run it through a filter, but I don't want to have to put any chemicals or anything in the water. So that's it. We just rotate the water and,
great.
take it down at a certain point. That way, when you put the hose water in it, it's not too much chlorine to hurt the fish, and it kind of keeps the water clear, and
Hmm.
it all works out. So, well, this has been fantastic. I'm glad to catch up
Absolutely.
with you a little bit. I would love to, you know, get in deeper and go back and look at some of the topics we talked on before and hear more about your electroculture experience and
Yeah,
some of the other things you do. But yeah, it was just really great to get back in here and have that conversation. It seems like, I know behind the scenes you've gone through a lot in the last couple of years, and I think I have a feeling I'm not that much of an empath, but it's because I don't want to be. And sometimes I take those shields off just a little bit so I can feel a little some stuff. And I feel like you're going to be all right. Like
yep,
you're going to come out of this better than you ever were. And
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to seeing that happen. And I'd love to be there to help any way I can.
That would be amazing.
Awesome. Well, Erin, I always try to have our guests, if they have a good thought, I know you do, leave our audience with a central thought. Well, what do you think that would be today?
Do something for yourself. Put yourself first. I think we always hear put others first, but I think you need to put yourself first sometimes. Recharge. There's crazy energy that's going on in the universe right now that is just draining people. The Schumann resonance has been off the charts. So recharge, take that, whatever that takes. It's not selfish, and it's very much needed.
Absolutely. I think that's fantastic. And this is that end of the show opportunity. How does somebody get a hold of you if they're interested in any of your healing services that you offer, or maybe wanting to see some animals, or maybe help out and take one home?
Absolutely. Yeah. So hit up me on my phone number. Texting is great, or on my website.
Beautiful. You want to give that out, or?
Do you have it? It's kind of long. It's just at the Healing Center. Phone number 208-749-0717 is probably the easiest.
Beautiful. I'll find your website address and I'll put it in the show notes.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erin. It was great to have you back, and I'm looking
Thank
forward to
you.
doing this again.
Thank you very much.
This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Grumba, and I want to thank all of our listeners for making this show possible, and we will see you next time. This has been another episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. We produce this show so that people can share their stories, people that have overcome obstacles, people that are undergoing obstacles. We're building a community of health-minded individuals. If you're interested in supporting the show,
please leave a review on the platform you're listening to it on. If you're interested in becoming a guest, please send an email to itsjoegrumbine@gmail.com, or you can send a note into the notes section of the podcast. All right. Well, thank you for supporting this show, and we hope you've enjoyed it.